What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Round the Track with the Riders NASCAR podcast, featuring myself, SterlingRider, and Duke Rider.
What's up, everybody? As you can see, I am not in my office tonight. When we are recording this, the my office is basically a closet, as Sterling Ryder can attest, and it's pretty hot in there right now. And then also, for some reason, our internet's been really wonky today in there. I've been working on the computer most of the day, so I figured it would be best to get out here, get in the man cave. Y'all could kind of see some of the diecast and stuff behind me, and just have a little bit of different background for y'all as we discuss all that we have to discuss this week.
Yeah, we did kind of miss a week with normally doing it every other race. We've thrown in an extra week just from busy schedules and such, but we're back. I kind of like you not being stuck in the closet because you can see more than just a William Byron flag. Yes, obviously you're a William Byron fan, as am I, but you can see a whole lot more than just William Byron diecast in the background. If you can see
Well,
the
here, we'll turn
numbers,
it up to the ceiling, and you can see all the flags on the ceiling.
multiple flags, some license plates that we won't talk about, just to stay out of trouble. But yeah, good background choice. So mine's a little boring, but this will improve. Hopefully, once I move out of Alaska. But anyways, yeah, a lot to discuss. News-wise, not a lot to discuss. Um, I had
No,
read something on the lawsuit, but I didn't dive too deep on the updating.
yeah, basically, NASCAR they had the where NASCAR had filed for an appeal on the injunction that granted 2311 and Front Row Motorsports their charters. They actually they went to court on that. Still awaiting. Last I heard, still awaiting the judge's final say on that. So we don't have anything other than the fact that they've went to court. They've been before the panel of judges, the appeals panel of judges, and basically the jury's still out, as it goes. From what I understood, there was a couple of judges that were kind of wondering why 2311 was kind of put it in. I think it was Bob Pockrass that said, the judge kind of wanted to know why they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. But then I also read by an actual lawyer that commented on the case, and I cannot remember his name, but he commented, he was like, usually the judges question whatever side they're leaning towards the most, they question them the hardest. So, this could be good news for the teams, or it could be good news for NASCAR. So the only thing that I see about this is if the teams, in my opinion, the teams need to win this. Not just this appeal and the injunction, they need to win the entire lawsuit. That is what's going to be best for the sport. That's going to be what's best for the teams. It's going to be what's best for the fans. If NASCAR wins, it's not. I mean, this already gives NASCAR a black eye. So, but the jury's still out. We're waiting to see when their decision comes back. It could be tomorrow, Friday. It could be 2 weeks from now. There's no real set time for them to come back. On other appeals news, Chris Buescher, who got disqualified after Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
or had a not disqualified, but had a really big penalty from the research R&D shop. The appeal for RFK is to be heard next Wednesday. So that came out this afternoon. And then of course there's the IndyCar news with Kyle Larson. Had a couple crashes
Yep.
over the past week, but was able to still qualified in 21st. It's been a while since somebody in the that's not been in the top 20 has won the race, but we know that Kyle has the talent and the ability to pull that off. So what do you think? Have you watched any of the IndyCar coverage at all?
I have not, just due to a busy schedule. Trying to keep up with NASCAR itself can be a little bit of a hassle. I've also been trying to keep up with some of the exclusives, like finally got a chance to go watch Full Speed on Netflix with the NASCAR special. And I know Earnhardt's supposed to drop on Prime on the 22nd, which is tomorrow at the time of this recording. So I haven't had the chance to actually watch some IndyCar coverage, but I will do my best to watch the 500 if I have if I can access it. We'll see. If not, I may find a way to just pull it up on my phone and maybe watch like certain sections of it. But I haven't been able to get down to IndyCar racing yet.
Well, I tell you what's really cool though. The grandstands and the infield are actually really close to a sellout, which is the first time in a long time that has happened. So IndyCar has actually lifted the local blackout for Indiana and parts of Illinois that weren't able to watch the 500 because they were trying to get people to come to the race. Well, since so many people are coming to the race, they've lifted that blackout. So good news for those people in the Indianapolis area that haven't been able to watch an Indy 500 on TV in a very long time. They're going to get to watch because they can't go to the track because they're sold out, which is really good news for IndyCar, which kind of leads us into our discussion on NASCAR with Texas. The Texas Cup race specifically had a pretty good crowd.
Yes, very much. I mean, those stands were packed. Infield looked pretty packed too. So
I think going to one race a year at Texas has helped that. Also, Coda and Texas aren't back to back like kind of like they were last year. I mean, they were like
yeah,
right on top of each other last year. So, and those tracks are within 5 hours of each other. So, having them spread out like that helps the crowd. Um, it's good to see fans back in the stands. Ratings are up this year. I don't. I know why ratings are up in the Xfinity series because the CW is actually killing it with the CW with the Xfinity series. I mean, they're doing an amazing job. I don't understand why the ratings are up in Cup. The racing has not really been that great this year. So you go look at Jeff Gluck's good race poll for the year, and a lot of races that were up last year are really down this year.
yep.
So, but yeah, so Texas truck race.
Um, it was a Texas truck race. I would
Right,
say
which really wasn't bad.
no, it was not.
They did have 11 cautions, but it wasn't a crash. I mean, it wasn't a wreck fest where drivers were just running over each other. It was just, trucks not handling it and, losing it.
yeah. So do want to point out this is a race Carson Hocevar stepped down to race in the number 7 Spire truck. He started off okay, but he fell off throughout the race and ended up finishing 17th. So.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's driven a truck, so but I mean, yeah, it was pretty good. Nick Sanchez also stepped back into the 07 truck. But when you have the talent like a Corey Heim and a Daniel Hemrick, you're not going to win. These Cup guys aren't going down and winning every race nowadays like they used to. I mean, you look at Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, he won Atlanta this year, but his other starts haven't been that great. I mean, we mentioned William Byron a couple weeks ago. He wasn't even, didn't even know he was in the race.
Nope, not
Really.
not until near the end of the race. That was at Martinsville.
Vegas, wasn't it? It might have been Martinsville, yeah.
It was Martinsville. It was a short track, and I don't think we've been to Bristol yet, so I'm pretty sure it was Martinsville.
Yeah, and either way, I mean, TV didn't mention him until like the last 20 laps. So
Yeah.
it's like, really, Williams? Because he just wasn't. They weren't running where you would expect them to run. But Corey Heim, I mean, this is a Corey Heim type track, and Corey went out and does what Corey does. Um, you know, it's circumstances that he simple circumstances that he wasn't won every race this year. I mean,
Yeah.
Would have beaten Kyle Larson at Darlington had his truck not been shutting off
Yeah. Yeah.
every other lap. So, I mean, so no surprise to see Corey Heim just go out there and do what he does. Daniel Hemrick finished second, which, Daniel's having a really good year stepping back into trucks.
Yeah.
Rajah had a good run finishing in third. He needed that. He's been struggling this year
He
compared
has
to last year.
indeed. Good to see Raja.
Yeah, for sure. Tyler Ankerman fourth. Tanner Gray. Sorry, Taylor Gray's moved up into the Xfinity Series. Tanner Gray in fifth. Ben Rhodes sixth. Another person that really needed a good run. That's really having a struggle this year is Ben Rhodes. He really needed a good run, and he got it at Texas. Matt Crafton, in seventh. Bailey Curry eighth, and Dawson Sutton in ninth, and Ty Majeski in 10th. Is your top 10. So again, it was a Texas race.
It was indeed. I can't tell you who has fastest lap because nobody apparently had a best lap set at all according to the NASCAR app.
Well, on my rundown that comes from Jayski, that's on their website, that all of the media posts on Twitter, I usually screen grab it. The number 7 of Carson Hocevar that you mentioned earlier had the fastest lap.
Very well.
Let's see. An Xfinity race.
The one race we'll cover for this episode. for them.
Bad thing. The bad thing about this Xfinity race was Connor Zilic had an injury and had to get out of the 88 to be able to, because that gave him the weekend of Texas and then the next 2 weekends off. Did kind of hurt his Cars Tours plan. He had planned on running the Cars Tour at North Wilkesboro.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Unfortunately, with his injury, he was unable to do so. But
just want to point out he is coming back. He's back in the car. He's much better now. He made an announcement that he's literally saying, "I'm back." And very thankful to his team and Kyle Larson, who's filled in his spot at Texas for helping him, take the time to heal. But he will be back this coming weekend at Charlotte. So I expect him to be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, for sure. And that is one thing that I like about the whole waiver business. If you get hurt and you're able to get a waiver, you miss one race, 2 races tops, maybe 3 races. I'm glad for you.
Yep.
If you miss 11 races, getting a waiver to get into the playoffs is a little ridiculous because even missing this one race, he's still in the playoff points picture, even without his win. But he has that win and he's in the playoff picture. So he's not taking a spot from somebody who's there point wise because he's there anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah. But anyway, that's another story for another day. That's on one of our rant shows.
Yeah. For sure.
That we'll have a little bit of a rant probably here at the end of this podcast when we talk about Fox's portion of the Cup season and our thoughts and opinions on that. But we'll get to that. So the Xfinity race, man, Justin Allgaier could have won this race.
Yes, I 100% agree with that one.
Um, man, I don't know what these. I've never been in a race car, so I don't know, but I don't understand what these drivers that are multiple laps down are thinking, running in the middle of the track like that, taking up multiple lanes when you got a car that just pitted that's on much better tires. It's already faster than you in the first place.
Yep.
All right, but then he's got really good tires on him, brand new tires on him, just come out of the pits, and he's trying to run down the competition. And Justin was making up time on Kyle Larson, and he tries to pass Chris Wright, and Chris he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he put himself in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. I mean, I will say these, Texas is an oddball with lap cars, but like on iRacing, you get those guys that'll just be like in the way. Now I understand, like there's been races in the modifieds or mini stocks in like the rookie classes or Class D races that I'll run just because I enjoy racing that car, but there's always lap traffic in the way. But there's also times where the leaders first and second have lapped the whole field. So I understand if it's like fourth and fifth racing for that one last position during those last, 5 laps. Okay, cool. I'll try not to get to your bumper as the leader to lap you, to let you guys race it out. But like, at the same time, those guys towards the back, and there's only like 13 cars on the track, so 11th, 12th. If y'all are fighting, I need y'all to put y'all's fight on pause because the leaders are coming through, and you don't want to screw up one of the leaders' races. That happens all the time in simulator because people don't think.
Obviously, Chris Wright wasn't thinking in the Xfinity race, the second highest division in the NASCAR series. I mean, and this is not his first dumb move of the race.
No, it's not.
ARCA has that sweetest move of the race. Xfinity needs to have the dumbest move of the race because somebody like Chris Wright is going to win it multiple times, and he's already won it multiple times this year. And it's a bad look for him. It's a bad look for his team.
Absolutely, I would 100% agree. So,
and Texas is wide enough where he could have went high coming out of the turn and just let Justin go by and been 20 feet between the cars.
Yep.
So bad break for Justin. And I don't know if you've noticed with Justin Allgaier, when he has trouble,
Yes.
It's not, they have a bad pit stop. It's not, he has a loose wheel and has to pit again. It's not anything like that. When Justin Allgaier gets in trouble, he wrecks from the lead. He has a tire blowout and it totally wrecks his car and takes him out. Or something like this that takes him out. It's really, and I would say 9.5 times out of 10, it's totally out of his control.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
So you gotta feel for Justin, even though he is the points leader in the Xfinity Series by like 50 points right now. So you can't feel too bad for him.
No, I mean,
but yeah, he should have been able to at least contend, be up there to contend for this win because he won the first stage. He finished second in the second stage, and then got taken out by something. I honestly, I'll say it. This is something I could see happening in the Truck Series. It wouldn't surprise me to happen in the Truck Series, but to happen in the Xfinity Series, not at Martinsville
Yeah, yeah,
is just kind of ridiculous.
yeah. I would agree there.
So, substitute driver Kyle Larson wins this race in the 88. Just goes to show how good the 88 is,
Yes.
and how good Junior Motorsports is.
Just to throw in real quick, Larson didn't know he's running the race till like Wednesday evening, and this race
Right.
is Saturday, and practice is Friday. So he only had a day and a half of a notice of, hey, you're gonna be in this car for this weekend. Hope you're ready.
Right. Well, and that just goes to show how good of a driver he is.
Absolutely.
I mean, no big Kyle Larson fans on this podcast, but at the same time, we respect his abilities.
Absolutely. I respect him as a race car driver. He's clean. He's got the talent. He drives away almost.
Unless he's racing his teammate.
Oh yeah, he gets bumpy with his teammates, and I feel like that one's a little backwards. But he deserves a lot of the big talk about him. So I don't ever. Yeah, he messes up. What famous race car driver do you know that didn't make a mistake? Okay. Richard Petty was in crashes. Dale Earnhardt was in crashes before he was taken away because of one. We've seen, Denny Hamlin in crashes, even though he's not a champion. He's won multiple times. Byron in crashes, again, future champion.
I mean, Kevin Harvick had a lot of crashes in his career.
Harvick, a ton of crashing.
And Jimmy Johnson, too.
Exactly. So what great race car driver has not had their share of a little bit of bad luck with crashing? It happens. So don't hate on him just because he made a boo-boo or the car didn't go the right way. So,
for sure. And then Taylor Gray finished second. We talk about people in the truck series that needed a good run. Man, he's had a disastrous start to the season, so it was really good for him to be able to finish second in this race.
Yeah.
Almost won it. I mean, he had a chance to win it.
He did. He definitely needed that. I know he's still on the hunt. I know he's probably still pretty PO'd about Martinsville. But, I believe he'll get there in time for sure. He's being patient with it, and sometimes it's what you got to do, especially in the Xfinity series.
Yep. So a nightmare in number 3 in the third position, Riley Herbst in the Monster Energy number 19 Joe Gibbs racing car. And I say nightmares because he was, if you go back and you play NASCAR Heat 5, he is in the number 18 Monster Energy Joe Gibbs racing car in the Xfinity series, and he's a nightmare.
Yes, he is. He can be.
He's a nightmare.
I think
to race around.
The reason there's a short. I think he's one of the reasons why I went flipping down the backstretch of Talladega was because of him. So yes, I would agree with that for sure.
But just one number difference, but you see that Monster Energy car with the Joe Gibbs Racing number 19 on the side, and it just brings back horrible NASCAR Heat 5 memories.
Indeed.
Austin Hill with another good run in 4th. Sam Mayer 5th. Harrison Burton with 6th. Man, I got to say, and I know we've talked about this several times already this season, and we're not even a quarter way through the season with the Xfinity series, but Harrison Burton in this 25 car, he's giving them a run for their money for sure.
Oh, definitely. The kid's got the talent in Xfinity series. He definitely struggled when he was in Cup. Getting a win at Talladega, I know, was huge for him and his family and support. But I think, I know it sucked. Like I said, I've watched the Netflix Full Speed. Before he won Talladega, he already knew he was not going to be racing for the Wood Brothers again. So for him
was it Talladega or Daytona?
It was Daytona. Excuse me, it was Daytona.
Yeah, we got him in the playoff.
Right, but to see him, still being confident in himself and taking a chance with a lower team in the Xfinity Series. He's proven to him he belongs in the sport for sure. This is just my opinion. I don't think he's quite ready for that Cup level yet, but he's definitely there for Xfinity. So
for sure, and this shows that he's the type of driver that can carry a team. Because this is a second-year team.
Yep.
No, third-year team because they had Brett Moffitt drive for them the year before, I believe.
That's right. Yep.
So it's a third-year team, and they're not in top equipment, but he's able to take this team, put them on their back, and carry them in a lot of ways through the Xfinity Series. If he wins the race this year, preseason, if you'd asked me, I'd have said no way. But now I believe he has an opportunity to win. He could win this year. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
He was leading at Talladega before he got wrecked out, if I remember correctly. So
yes,
yeah,
I believe so. So
Jesse Love in 7th, Ryan Sieg with another impressive run in 8th. Led a lot of laps at Texas. And again, he won Texas last year, in case you were wondering. Sorry, NASCAR, but Ryan Sieg won that race last year. Brandon Jones finishes 9th, and Jeb Burton in 10th.
Your fastest lap was the guy that sadly got handed the short end of the stick, Justin Allgaier.
For sure. All right, Cup Series. Let me just say this. All that for a Joey Logano win.
I know, right? Oh, my goodness. It was a good race until he was in the lead, and then I was like, well, this race sucks.
Well, it was a good race until they started racing like the truck drivers.
Yeah, that's also true.
I mean, it's like, what are y'all doing? And this isn't the first Cup race that we've had like this year, where they just get stupid.
Yep.
Whoops, I closed that out. But yeah, I mean, golly, it was just ridiculous.
Man, it was super exciting to watch this race. Because Carson Hocevar was up front for almost the whole race until they just start, as you said, start driving like the truck drivers. Then it kind of cost him quite a bit.
7 of the 12 cautions. Listen to this. 7 of the 12 cautions happened after lap 220. 7 of 12.
Lovely.
It's almost like I'm reading an Xfinity Series stat at Martinsville stat sheet or a truck race. Well, at almost everywhere stat sheet.
Very true.
Of course, I do have to give trucks props. They've raced a whole lot better and a whole lot cleaner this year than yours past. So, but anyway, Joey Logano won. Ross Chastain second. I was hoping Ross would catch him.
I was too.
Ryan Blaney third. Kyle Larson fourth. Eric Jones fifth with a good run. He needed that. Same with Ricky Stenhouse in sixth.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Well, actually, you could throw Austin Dillon in seventh and John Hunter Nemechek in eighth, and even Daniel Suarez in 10th. Christopher Bell stuck in there with ninth, but I mean, come on. Chris is having an awesome season this year, but
yes, indeed.
I would say minus Christopher, 5th through 10th. Really, actually 5th through 12th. If you look at Todd Gilliland finished 11th and Ty Dillon finished 12th, they needed that.
Absolutely. Definitely helps with boosting confidence and probably just team morale altogether. and team confidence. May not be the finish they want to finish with, but it's a finish that's better than what they've had for the season. So
I mean, yeah, for sure. And it helps. We're getting towards that summer stretch where it's going to be hot. It's going to be trying and taxing on the teams. They need to get these good runs in while they can.
yep, indeed. The fastest lap for the Cup race at Texas goes to the first ever Spire Motorsports pole for Cup, Carson Hocevar. So he is definitely stepping up into a contender for sure with Spire. Still on the seat that Spire's going to get a win this year in Cup for sure. Starting to look like it's going to be Carson who does it, but I still say Justin Haley or Michael McDowell could still easily do it as well with the way these courses are lined up.
Oh, yeah, we got several road courses between now and the playoffs too, especially for Michael McDowell to be able to go out there. But Michael's been running fairly decent on the ovals this year, so yeah.
Yep, very true. So
on to Kansas.
Hey, I apparently missed news about Kansas.
Oh,
What happened to Lane Riggs? He finished second originally. Now,
oh, that's right. He got disqualified. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see if this tells me why he got disqualified. Cause no, this doesn't tell me why he got disqualified. But anyway, he got DQ'd. Um, Come on, trying to rack my brain and remember. Something to do with the deck lid. The deck lid of the truck. It was loose or something where air could get in under the bed of the truck. And so they basically said it wasn't fastened down correctly and gave him an unfair aero advantage. So that's why he was disqualified. Sorry, y'all. It took me a minute to remember what it was, but then that light bulb came on. So heartbreaker for him. This is the second time this year where had the person that finished second won the race, the winner would have been disqualified. The other going back to Chris Buescher, not Chris Buescher, but Ryan Preece a few weeks ago.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, I never even saw that. I've been gotten much more active with scrolling on Twitter just to kind of keep up with news and such, and that is not something I ever saw on my feed, which is unusual. So that one kind of shocked me.
Yeah, and the team didn't appeal, so that wasn't going to change anyway. So, but yeah, the Kansas race was pretty good from the Truck Series standpoint. It wasn't anything, spectacular, but it was a good race.
It was a good race, well executed by a Cup driver. Carson pulls it off with the win after quite a good battle there at the end between him and Lane Riggs.
Oh yeah.
Carson sent a small little message once he actually cleared Lane Riggs. But after once they were interviewing Carson, he was like, "It was all just fun and games. I didn't actually mean anything by it." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I can consider that."
Well, it's still, I mean, it's kind of childish, but then again, I mean, he's a young kid, so
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
not it's not anything that's going to end his career.
No, I mean we've seen worse from current drivers at their young age as well. So nothing bad. But yeah,
It's kind of childish.
Carson pulls it off. Like I said, really good battle between him and Lane Riggs as the race wounded down to its finish. As talked, Lane Riggs was second, but then got DQ'd due to an oopsie. So that put William Byron second in the 07 Spire truck. So Spire finishing 1-2 with their guest appearances.
Right. Which is the exact opposite of this race was the exact opposite for William than the one we talked about at Martinsville. We knew he was in this race.
Yeah.
He ran up front most of the night. So, he was in the field.
Yep. Very true. Corey Heim finishing third. Giovanni Ruggiero. Did I say that right?
Giovanni Ruggiero.
Oh, wow. I butchered that name very badly. Finishing fourth. Stuart Friesen fifth. Boo. Brandon Jones sixth. Jake Garcia seventh. Caden Honeycutt with a good top 10 finish in eighth. Grant Infinger ninth. And Daniel Hamrick 10th. I can't tell you who has fastest lap because 3 drivers tied for the fastest lap, which was
Carson. Oh, really? They've got down here the 7 car truck.
Well, that would explain why there's actually no point. But according to the NASCAR app, Carson Hocevar in the 7, Corey Heim in the 11, Lane Riggs in 34, all had the same exact best lap time. Of course, there may be. This is only going to thousandths of a second, so I'm sure actual points looked at goes further than that if needed. So that would explain no extra point to anybody.
The only problem with that is when you have 3 trucks run the same speed and they're all 3 the fastest lap, that shows you that the trucks are a little too similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, then we had the not so good cup race. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I did not like this race. I did not enjoy this race. There was nothing about this race that I enjoyed. I'm not one of those that, I'm a fan of old school NASCAR. You go back into the 80s and 90s and early 2000s when I was really, especially late 80s, early 90s when I was really getting NASCAR, it was nothing to see somebody lap almost the whole field. I mean, you had 3, 4, 5 cars on the lead lap.
Yep.
So domination is not a problem for me. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I was one of those, as a big fan of Kevin Harvick. He got a 15-second lead. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So domination is not a problem for me. The problem for me is when the cars don't race. There's not a race. It's just 30-something cars driving around in a circle, going the same speed.
Yep. I would say really the only racing there was until it was a pit road penalty, I believe, that kind of pooped us over is there was a chase down from Chase Elliott. He was catching Larson there towards the end of every, both stage 1 and 2. I know stage 1 they were side by side coming to the line, so but then sadly a little pit road whoopsie sent us way back into the field, which I was really bummed about. I was really hoping the Prime Amazon Prime video scheme was going to make a lovely victory lane appearance, just because I wanted a victory lane diecast of that scheme. Have to stick with the OG release of that, but hey, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, right?
Yeah, and that's like William Byron had that had his tire go down early,
Yep.
and was never really able
Recover.
to recover from that. So yeah, it was a tough day for both of us, being fans of Chase and William, but there's a few drivers in the top 10 that I enjoy watching and am fans of, with Josh Berry and Ryan Preece. Those we're fans of both of those drivers, so it was good to see them at least give us something to talk about,
Yeah.
some kind of hope,
some positivity from a personal standpoint.
right? Because Kyle Larson basically drove away with this race. I
Abs-
mean, Christopher Bell was kind of catching him, but he just ran out of time.
yeah. Oh. Typical Kyle Larson show, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and it wasn't. You talk about Toyota's. This is a Toyota track. Toyota has been dominant there for the past several years.
Yeah.
Of course, I know they didn't win either race there last year, but they were up front, and they just didn't seem. Of course, like I said, Christopher Bell was up there, but the rest of them were nowhere to be found all
Yeah.
day.
Pretty much. So.
You gonna do the top 10?
I can. I'm sorry. Kyle Larson wins it. Also, your fastest lap extra point recipient. Christopher Bell, runner-up in second. Ryan Blaney in third. Chase Briscoe with a good run in fourth. He needed that for sure.
Yes.
Alex Bowman in fifth. Also a good run. The 48 team needed that. I just keep my personal opinion to myself. Josh Berry in sixth. A good run for him and that team for sure. Ryan Preece in seventh. Another good run for the 60 team. Chris Buescher eighth. So RFK there in the top 10. They needed that as a whole team. Joey Logano ninth. Yuck. And John Henry Nemechek with another good top 10 finish.
Yeah, so let's talk about real quick, Josh Berry. Do you think, as well as Josh is running, there's a possibility he could get another win this year?
Absolutely. I don't even have to think twice. Well, obviously, my very, very quick response should tell you, but I wouldn't even like guess or second thought, whatever they say about it. I 100% see him grabbing another win. Now, at what track? I'm going to lean more towards a short track just because that's where his specialty of skill set is maximized. But, I mean, he proved me wrong with his first win being at Las Vegas. That's a, intermediate track. I would not be surprised if he won at an intermediate track as well. Super Speedway is more of a luck track, but again, we've seen him up front when he's able to dodge the big ones. So he could 100% at any type of track. Like I said, it's still a higher chance, in my opinion, at a short track. 100% going to get a second win this season.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, if the team is able to hold it together for the Coca-Cola 600, it would not surprise me at all for him to be in the top 5, if not winning the race with the Coca-Cola 600 this weekend.
If he wins the race, I'm buying the Elite. Signed. No questions asked. Okay.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, impressive this year. I mean, he really come out a whole lot better than I think anybody thought, especially as bad as, a knock on Harrison Burton. We gave Harrison his props earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But what that car has done the past few years, and, Josh's rookie season last year wasn't the greatest of rookie seasons, and then he comes in this year and it's like a whole new driver, a whole new team.
Yep.
compared to what it was in the past. So it's awesome to see, especially for people that have been fans of Josh Berry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got his former team owner Dell Jr. rooting for this guy every week. Because Josh Berry ran for Junior Motorsports. So, I mean, when you got someone like Dale Earnhardt Jr. in your corner, I mean, you're going to I would feel unstoppable. I know that much. No, it's huge for Josh Berry. It's huge for the 21 team. It's huge for Wood Brothers in general, being their 75th year racing, which tells you how long they've been in NASCAR, pretty much literally the beginning, because 75 years of NASCAR was like, what, 2 years ago?
Years ago,
So that
yeah.
tells you Wood Brothers has pretty much been with NASCAR since NASCAR started. So this is huge for the Wood Brothers team itself. Just, hey, it may have been 75 years. We've had a lot of downtime where, we were just in the pack, but not able to execute. Josh is bringing that back. It's like, we're still a contending team, though. So it's awesome to see, for sure.
Yeah, and that is good for NASCAR. When Richard Petty's car, when the 43 runs good, that's good for NASCAR. When the 48 runs good with Jimmy Johnson's number, that's good for NASCAR. When the 24 runs good, that's good for NASCAR. When the 3 runs good, that's good for NASCAR, because those are iconic numbers, iconic teams, still associated with the teams that made them made those numbers famous. I know Richard Petty and Legacy Motor Club and all that. It's a lot different than what it was back when it was Petty Enterprises, but it's still the legacy of the numbers. I mean, if they brought back the 28 car, um, and built it off of the legacy of Davey Allison, and the legacy that Robert Yates had back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then even before that, when it was the Raymar Racing Team, when Cale Yarborough was driving for them. There's a legacy in the number, and the Wood Brothers is another one of those numbers with that 21, that number 21 legacy. They ran number 7, I believe it was in 1985, when they were sponsored by 7-Eleven, and they had Kyle Petty driving for them. That's the only time they've not had the 21. And the 21 is one of those iconic numbers that's been in the sport for so long. So seeing them run up front is good for the sport.
Yep. Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. So,
So, which kind of brings me into my next question. Did you get a chance to watch the Cars Tour race?
sadly did not. I wasn't 100%. I should have asked, but I wasn't 100% sure where I could watch it.
What was on Fox Sports 1?
uh,
Still it's still on the DVR.
nice.
Um,
I will be
but
watching
you're
it.
gonna have to watch it. You're gonna have to watch it tonight or wait until next week, and I'll explain why off camera. But um, I enjoyed the race. It was 100 laps. They did have some hiccups. It that wasn't a good look. They did have some wrecks that uh didn't necessarily give the Cars Tour a good look. Looked like an ARCA race there for a while,
Oof.
because you had like the second, third place cars wrecking
Oh,
like twice. The one was on the second lap of the race, like they went down, or it might have been the first lap. I think it was the second lap. They go down into turn one, and like the second, third place car wrecks out.
I think it was the first
Um,
lap because I did see a video on Instagram where like the start of the race started and I hear one of the commentators, it was Junior or Harvick because they were in the booth. Were like, and we're already wrecking as the green flag waves. So
but all in all, it put some more eyes on the Cars Tour. People that don't have a subscription to Flow Racing, which I do want to eventually get. One of these days is get a subscription to Flow Racing. But if you don't have a subscription to that, this was able to give, and the ratings were really good. I mean, over 300,000 people watched this race on FS1, Of course, Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, they probably brought a lot of attention to it with them being in the booth. But it was a good race. And it gave us a showcase of some up and coming drivers, whose names we've heard on TV, but you know, um, you know, we got to think. Okay, this is the series that launched Elaine Riggs' career. This is a series that launched a Josh Berry's career, a series that launched uh, Brendan Queen's career, who's running in the ARCA series, has won a couple races. So this series has launched several drivers that we have in the upper series now, and it's good to see this kind of national exposure for the Cars Tour. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing them on national TV more often.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Honestly, Cars Tour is. I mean, this is a tour that started not long ago. It's already been a huge hit, and most of um, its time it's been up, and you have some of the owners and of the tour commentating in the booth, and they're getting excited and they're happy about it. You don't see that a lot at all. So I would 100% agree. I wish they would be a little more, you know, accessible in in their televising and watching, and not just a normal limited pay-per-view on Flow Racing. Not to take that away from Flow Racing, because they do good too, but I would love to see more on FS1 or Fox Sports or whoever's like, hey, we'll broadcast the race for you.
And the thing is, you don't have to have Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick in the booth every week. The other owners of the series, Jeff Burton and Justin Marks, put them in the booth. Give them a run at the booth. They know the series. They know the drivers. Like Kevin and Dale Jr. know the drivers. So, give them a shot. That was the only thing really that disappointed me, was the fact that there wasn't an interview with those two, with Jeff Burton and Justin Marks, at least during the race or before or post race. There should have been some sort of involvement with those two, because they're big names in the sport.
Yep.
Justin Marks with Trackhouse Racing. Jeff Burton is a multi-time race winner and future Hall of Famer. So, get them involved in the TV aspect of it too, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't have a rundown for that. Unfortunately, those aren't done, by Jayski the way the top NASCAR series are. But we did not have a Xfinity Series race at Kansas. Did not have an Xfinity Series race at North Wilkesboro, which I think is an absolute travesty
I
that
would
they did not
agree.
have an Xfinity race at North
You
Wilkesboro.
you
You think
literally
that's a good idea?
oh, absolutely. I agree with Dell Jr. 100% on this. Put an Xfinity race at North Wilkesboro. Guess what? Dell Jr. said he would race in that race. That, to me, if I was head of NASCAR instead of the clowns that are ahead of it now, I would have immediately been talking to people. Hey, this is going on the schedule. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to see that race there because Dell Jr. said so. Because Dell Jr. said he would race it. I would 100% do everything in my power to make it happen.
And let's face the facts. North Wilkesboro is on the schedule right now because Dale Jr. took the initiative, and he even said it on the Dale Jr. download just this week. He said, "Look," he said, "I did this for selfish reasons. I just wanted to get it scanned for iRacing."
Yeah.
But with as many people that jumped on board, Marcus Smith from Speedway Motorsports, and all the people that jumped on board that went and helped get the track cleaned up, and then they did run that Cars Tours race there back several years ago. and showed NASCAR, hey, this can be done. He is the brainchild of all of this, so to speak. So if Dale Jr. says, look, we need, and I agree 100%, the Xfinity Series needs to be racing at North Wilkesboro. Cup Series, we'll talk about that when we get to the Cup Series.
Yeah.
The race, the All-Star race. But if the trucks are there, if the Cars Tour is there, why can't we have a doubleheader on Saturday? Throw the Xfinity cars in there and let's go truck race, Xfinity race. If they're going to keep the All-Star race there, we go into the heats. I
Yep.
mean, three you got racing pretty much all day long at the track. It's going to be awesome racing. For those of us that don't have minuscule attention spans, which we'll talk about at the end of this show, because I want to talk about stage racing and Kyle Larson's thoughts on that. I'm gonna pull that up and read that and kind of give you my thoughts on that. But to have that kind of that is going to pack the house, folks.
Absolutely.
You know, uh, the truck races. If you buy a ticket to come watch the heats on Saturday night to watch the heat races for the All-Star race, you get into the truck race and the Xfinity race for free. Okay? People are going to show up to watch the truck race. They're going to show up to watch the Xfinity race. The crowd's going to get bigger as the day goes on because you offer that extra incentive, and it's great. It's going to be great for the sport. And then you throw Dale Jr. in the Xfinity race. Hello, full stands.
Yep. I would agree. I would agree.
Sound like a teenage blonde girl there for a minute.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, but as you said,
Sorry to all you teenage blonde girls out there that they're actually watching a NASCAR podcast.
I highly doubt there's
Which
any.
is probably zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
But no, as you said, Dell Jr. started it just for himself, and community came to help him clean this track up. An abandoned track for many years. That once was a iconic race in the NASCAR series. That kind of got abandoned, and Junior was like, "Hey, I want to clean this up and bring it back for iRacing at least." And such a big turnout to clean up the track, and such a big boost when it got onto iRacing. Being ran, bought like it was the last roll of toilet paper before a hurricane, or can I say COVID? Is it too early to start joking about that joke? It's just the response to it. Look what happened. We got cup racing back. We got a truck race there now. Throw the Xfinity race in too, man. Let's have multiple upon multiple races the whole weekend. I see no problem with it. You're going to bring in even more people. Go for it.
For sure. And we did have an exciting truck race.
Yes.
This race, I thought, was only 6 cautions. 2 of those being stage break cautions. Actually, there was a spin that brought out the stage caution, but that's beside the first stage. But well, and second stage as well. But either which way, I mean, 6 cautions for a short track race, not bad.
No. Especially in trucks.
It was a fairly fast race. I mean, it was only an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Was the race time on this. So, but yeah. See, we have any? I don't see any upsets down here. Well, Corey Heim.
Yeah, I was about to say the only one I really would mention is Corey Heim with what happened to him.
Yeah, him and Lane Riggs coming down to finish the race, beating and banging. Eh, Corey was upset. Lane was like, "Oh, it's just a racing deal." Basically, what happened was they beat and banged enough to where it cut down Corey Haim's tire, and Corey spun out.
Yep.
Um, is that a racing thing? Yes. But Lane Riggs and Corey Haim seem to be having racing deals quite often this season. So actually, I think they had a few run-ins last season too.
Yeah, I
Um,
believe so. So,
but it's a rivalry, and what's good for the sports? For the sport, rivalry.
yep.
Um, it doesn't matter which side you're on, or no side, but it's a rivalry. It's something to bring attention to the sport. Um, you know, uh, it wasn't done. I mean, let's face it. Lane Riggs did not go up there and spin him out. Didn't wreck him. This wasn't a uh, Hocevar, Corey Haim, Phoenix situation that we had a few years ago. This wasn't a uh, Ty Gibbs wrecking his teammate at Martinsville for the win when his teammate would have went into the final championship four.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't. I mean, he just didn't go up there and wreck him. He rubbed him. They rubbed too hard, and Corey Haim got the short end of the stick.
Yep.
It'll eventually turn around to where they do the same thing, and Lane Riggs gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah. Part of short track racing is all I'm gonna say. Really, I mean,
All right, Denny.
I actually, we'll talk about this later. But again, I've watched both seasons of Full Speed now. I have some different views on some certain drivers. But we'll talk about that at the end of the episode, as well.
Yeah. But for sure, I mean, rivalries are good for the sport.
Yes, I would agree, 100%. Heat 5 has rivalries so bad to where you rub against them the wrong way. And yeah, you get like the mean tweet on the game, which I love. Like when people post on Twitter and tag the actual like driver, and he's like, "I said that." It's like the drivers have no idea about the goofy mean tweets in the game. It's hilarious.
And here's the bad part of the game. Once they're your rival, okay, it was supposed to be a rivalry system to where, like, okay, they're your rival, you race them clean for a few weeks, and you start building that relationship back
Yep.
to the positive side, right? There's some sort of thing, like, I don't know if I guess they just didn't put that in there, because once they're your rival for life.
Yeah. You, as a YouTuber I watch has said, you've made an enemy for life. Yeah.
So,
Which for me
I'm
happens.
still,
For me, it
I
happens
still
to.
play the game from time to time.
Yeah. I mean,
And still, those old rivals, I was playing a couple nights ago, and somewhere along the lines, I spun out Brett Moffitt. He's driving the 23 truck in NASCAR Heat 5. Somewhere along the lines, like several years ago in the truck series, I spun out Brett Moffitt. I can't get close to him now because I get close to him, he runs me in the wall.
yep. Yep.
So,
My lovely rivalry. Of course, I kind of did this one to myself, but mine is Joey Logano. So,
oh yeah, I spin him out every time I get close to him on track.
now it's actually hard to spin him out because he has that rival, standpoint. So he actually kind of fights back, and most of the time it's just one of us we're beating and banging until somebody hits the wall and goes backwards. But can't. Other than that, it's Joey. It's always going to be Joey. Sorry, Joey. I'm always going to aim for you. I don't like you. I'm sorry. I don't like you as a driver. As a person, that's a different opinion. As a driver, so I'm going to just leave that there. So.
All right, yeah. Give us a rundown for this.
Keep rambling about goofy things. Chandler Smith wins it. Lane Riggs comes in second after his little beat and bang with Corey Haim. Tyler Ankrum 3rd, Daniel Hemrick 4th, Grant Enfinger 5th, Ty Majeski 6th. Can you say his name? I don't want to butcher it again.
Giovanni Ruggiero.
Ruggiero. That makes no sense to me the way it's spelled, but okay. In 7th, Caden Honeycutt in 8th, Kyle Busch in 9th. He raced in this race?
Well, yeah, I kind of had the same thought. He started on the pole, if I'm not mistaken. No, he started second.
Wow, I completely forgot he ran that race. He had one.
He didn't make no noise.
Yeah, he made one of them William Byron at Martinsville races.
Yeah.
Sammy Smith, your top 10.
Yeah, and then Corey Heim, who again led the most laps, started on the pole, finished 17th because of that tussle that he had.
Who had fastest lap? Does it tell you? Mine does not tell me.
Chandler Smith.
Fair enough.
In the 38 truck. So, again, Chandler Smith, impressive. In the truck series this year.
Yep.
Kind of struggled in the Xfinity series last year and came back down to trucks and is having a pretty good season. So,
indeed. Yeah. Now for what I was hoping would be a decent, few races. I would say the heats were decent. The open was good. And then the actual race, all-star race, I would actually say it was also pretty good. Not what I was expecting, way better though. To be honest with you. So
yeah, and I think the heats on Saturday night kind of spoiled the actual main event for us, because the heats, in my opinion, and even the open, was better than the all-star race itself.
Yeah.
But the all-star, the open, well, I'll just give you my thoughts on the all-star race. Back when the shootout was started, it was for pole winners at Daytona. It was a short race. It was like 15 or 20 laps at Daytona, winner take all. The all-star race, when it first started, it was for race winners only. Okay? Not past champions, not past all-star race winners, not past playoff drivers, none of this. It was for winners only. If you had won a race since the previous all-star race, or the first year, it went all the way back to the beginning. Actually, I think it goes all the way back to the beginning of the previous year.
Yep.
If you won a race in the previous season, in this season, up to the all-star race, you were in the all-star race. Okay? It wasn't, it wasn't the Oprah Winfrey of races, where, you're in the all-star race, you're in the all-star, everybody's in the all-star race. It wasn't like that. Same thing with the Clash, with the Busch class. That wasn't what it was back when it first started. It has become we need to have 25 cars on the track for it to be a good race. Okay. The heats with 10 cars prove that wrong.
Yep.
Because, like I said, I think the heats were better than the main event itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wouldn't have a problem if there's 12 winners. Put them in the all-star race. Let that be your all-star race. You can run the open and get you another winner. Okay. First and second doesn't need to go in. Second place in the open, guess what? He hasn't won a race. He's not in the open, or he's not in the all-star race. Fan vote. You know what? He didn't win a race. He's not in the All-Star race. Um, or if you do have a fan vote, the fan vote can only be for drivers that have a second place finish.
Oh, so it would
And
be
I would
that would be
and I
interesting.
would limit that to I would limit that to this season only.
Yeah.
So going back to Daytona of 2025 to Kansas last weekend, if you have a second place finish, you're eligible for the fan vote. If you don't, you're not eligible. I mean that's simple because that's going to cut out uh, somebody being in an all-star race that's 15 laps down that didn't wreck. They're just 15 laps down because they're slow. Because they got a fan vote or they finished second in the open or they're in a Harrison Burton situation, which granted Harrison won. He
Yeah.
had all the rights to be in the all-star race.
Mm-hmm.
But Rick Rail Racing had no business being in the All-Star race.
I would agree with that one.
But yeah, let's talk about the Open. Um, I pretty much knew Carson was going to pull it off from the beginning.
He was very strong at the beginning, starting off with that race for sure.
In my opinion, it was going to be Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, or Ryan Preece were going to be the three cars that I thought were going to battle it out to the finish.
Yeah.
Ryan Preece with a penalty with running over the choose box. Bubba Wallace with just a different pit strategy that didn't quite work out. Left Carson up there by himself, and then John Hunter Nemechek finished second. There's really no reason to talk about anybody else because they didn't get anywhere. And then Noah Gragson finished 17th out of 18 cars and gets the fan vote.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just a couple things. I'll talk about Gregson. So Gregson's very, very interactive with the fans. So with there being a fan vote, okay, he definitely deserves it because he spends a lot of time with the fans. He finds the fans. He hangs out with the fans. He takes time out of his busy schedule to just be like, "What's up, guys?" And it's crazy how much time he does spend with fans. So honestly, that's not really a shocker. But I want to talk about Ryan Preece. How you said the choose cone role. I kind of agree with his statement. Of course, I didn't exactly see the replay of when he drove over the cone, but he was like, if they're not sure, put an actual cone out there. I actually think that would be a better way of the choose cone rule than the little triangle you can barely see on the track.
Well, when they went out and repainted it between the Open and the All-Star race, it was easy to see when they went out and repainted it. But before they repainted it, it's like, because I watching the replay, I was like, are we sure he missed? Because I couldn't even see it on TV.
Yeah.
And the lighting on the TV cameras is much brighter than what it is in real life.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see it on TV, so I can understand, but also what my understanding is there's markings on the wall that show you where it's at. So, if you're going to pick to the left of it, go down to the wall. That way you're not even worried about it.
I would agree with that one there. So I just know after I saw a small little snippet video on Twitter after his interview where he went and took a cone and put it on the wall himself. Then I saw a later tweet where it was just a picture Ryan Preece posted, no caption or anything, of just where he had set the cone, and it was no longer there. So I guess they didn't like his message. Um, so moving on to the main.
Probably not. But well, I do want to mention SVG qualified on the pole for this, and that was impressive.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but something we forgot we did not mention yet was the pit crew challenge that was part of qualifying.
Yes.
Um, man, wasn't it? It was so exciting to watch. I don't know if you watched qualifying, um, but I did. It was so exciting to watch the excitement on these guys' face. Every car that went that they beat, they're like, yeah. I mean, they're having a party down in the pit. And as they're getting closer to the end, they're like, oh, is he going to hold out? Is he going to hold out?
Oh,
Michael McDowell came down there. He's down there in street clothes with them. All kinds of excitement. And, this it's a full-time pit crew, but it's a talent development pit crew for Hendrick Motorsports. It's not Hendrick's top guys,
no.
yet they go out there when the spotlight is on them and beat Hendrick's top guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
and beat Joe Gibbs's.
absolutely. I love so much that they added this. This is putting, giving the guys behind the scenes a chance to shine. Yes, we see them in the races, but we don't. It's so quick. You don't see anything about it. Going, putting them in for the qualifying, it was an awesome move. You got to see them and focus on just them and just see how quick and swift they move. It's like, it's second nature to them, like how much training they put in to do this. So, I love that they had the pit crew challenge. Props to the 71, Spire pit crew team. They nailed it and came off with winning that challenge. So I think this is something they should look at adding for, obviously not actual point races, but maybe add to the Clash at the beginning of the race, maybe the Daytona heat races, just for the fun of it. And then, having it at the All-Star obviously proves to be good. Add it to some more non-points racing just to give them some more, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Exposure.
Yeah. So,
Well, they used to do it where I believe they did it on Friday night, and it was a standalone event. I mean, they did it at Charlotte. They had, the teams would come in, they would do a pit stop, then they would run to a car that was already, that was there, and they would have to push that car down, to the line. And it put the drivers were in the cars that they were pushing, but the guys, they're interviewing the guys. They're interviewing the pit crew team. They're interviewing, the spotlight was 100% on the crew members during that time. Um, I'm glad that they brought it back as part of the All-Star race, but I would like to see a bigger spotlight put on them at the All-Star race. Go back to where it's a standalone event to where the TV cameras are on them. And, okay, you know what? If nobody wants, none of the TV stations want to cover it, if Fox don't want to cover it, whoever has the All-Star race, if they don't want to cover it, NASCAR has a Tubi channel, a channel on Tubi that is 100% free. So if you have internet, you have a smart TV, you have a Roku, you have a Apple TV, you have an Amazon Fire Stick, whatever, you can get Tubi. It's a free app.
you can get it on your
Okay.
phone even.
Yeah, or you have a phone. It's a free app. It doesn't cost you anything. NASCAR has their own production team. Send your production team out there. Do it at the Hall of Fame. And put these guys in the spotlight. If you have to put it on your Tubi channel, that's fine. people like me are going to tune in and watch it because we want to know who these guys are.
Yep.
We want to know that the part. Does every fan out there want to know that? No, but I believe enough of us want to know who these guys are. We want to know their backgrounds. We want to know where they came from. We want to know, about them just as much as we do the drivers. I think there's enough fans out there to where the NASCAR channel on Tubi would bring some more eyes to the sport.
Absolutely.
So yeah, on to the
Main event of going in a circle. I honestly have no comments about this race, except congrats, Christopher Bell.
it was a decent race. The problem with this race, going all the way back for the first All-Star race that we had, that Kyle Larson dominated, then Joey Logano dominated last year, almost dominated this year, is the hype around the race is not matching what we're seeing on the track.
Yep.
And I 110% blame the car for what we see on the track. It is not good for short track racing.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that one. Of course, we also think it's not good on any track, but short tracks especially, yes.
I mean, and it looked like Joey was going to run away with it. But ended up not running away with it.
Thank goodness. I actually celebrated that he didn't win. Yeah, Christopher came up, took it over, and said, "Not this time, Slogano."
Which I guess is why we need to talk about why Logano didn't win. The promoter's caution.
Yes, promoter's caution. From Michael Waltrip. You could tell it was coming as soon as they started showing him up in the flag stand. You knew it was coming. I mean, they very obvious. I mean, he even held up hands to the fans like how many laps he planned to do it. It started with 10, came 5, 4, 3, 2, and then it waved.
All the way down to the asphalt.
So yeah, they said he dropped the flag, and then they go, oh, he dropped the flag literally. And at first they're like, to the track? Yes, to the track. The flag, he dropped the flag to the track. I was like, how? I was like, Michael Waltrip is the only person that would have done it too. With, the yellow flag.
Number one rule of flag waving is do not drop the flag.
Yes.
It's the number one rule. Don't drop the flag. Don't lean against the caution button.
Yep. And we
which has happened before.
Yes, we've they talked about how we've seen the green flag dropped when special guesses give the green flag at the start of the races. They're like, we've seen that dropped, and with those people, it's not a surprise. It's something they don't really understand what they're doing. Michael Waltrip's been in the sport for how many years, and he's the first person to drop the caution flag. I just remember seeing his tweet. He said in his tweet when he tweeted about it, it's like, hey, at least I won a taco this time.
Right, and that's reference to when he dropped the taco on Denny Hamlin's hood.
Yep.
And it went down in the engine.
Yep.
Or probably would have went down had the cover not been there in the engine of his car.
Yeah.
So
So
um, let's just go ahead and agree that putting things in Michael Waltrip's hands at important parts of a race, before, during, or after, is probably not the best idea.
I would agree. I think if you want to give him something, give him a microphone for his grid walks. His grid walks are normally funny, and he can't harm anything. Although this grid walk was questionable.
We'll get to that. We're going to talk about Fox here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and wrap up with this All-Star race. Now, did you know anything? I did not know anything about the manufacturer's deal until the race started, and Mike Joy mentioned it, and I'm like, wait, what? Because there was no promotion or anything. I didn't see anything on Twitter about it.
NASCAR dropped just kind of the rules, and that's all I ever saw about it. All I saw was there would be.
I didn't even see that.
It would be an even number of of each driver and manufacturer. If one of the other manufacturers outweighed one of the other two, they were going to even it out. Basically, it sounded like they were going to change one of the drivers' manufacturer just to even out said showdown, which made no sense to me. However, due to the way everyone qualified and how the Open ended, every manufacturer between the three had 5 drivers each. So, yeah, I would agree. There was no talk about it, no explanation on TV about it. Just, hey, don't forget about manufacturer showdown also. And that was about it. And the only thing I saw after that was who won the manufacturer showdown. So
yeah, which was Chevrolet. So,
and to win,
maybe a little more promotion.
I would agree. And I also forgot to mention, to win the showdown, it was the lowest number of collected finishes. So,
yeah, and Chevy had all 5 of their drivers in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, and then Toyota had 2 and Ford had 2. So that kind of makes it pretty obvious who's going to win when all 5 of your drivers are in the top 10.
Yeah.
That you're going to have the lowest.
So, yeah, I didn't see anything about it. And I think if they want to do that again, probably promote it a whole lot more than they did for this year. So,
yeah, and it was actually one of the questions on the fan council survey that we get at the end of the race was, did you know about him? Like, or, before the All-Star race, did you know about him? Like, no, I didn't, because, you mentioned that there was a post on X. I didn't even see that. Somehow I missed that. So I didn't know anything about it till Mike Joy mentioned it right before they went green. And I'm like, okay, you need to explain this to me. I think he mentioned it in the Open. He mentioned in the Open, at the end of the Open, that there were going to be 5 for each manufacturer, but he didn't go into detail until after the green flag on the All-Star race. And I'm sitting there, like, they didn't talk about it during the break or anything. So I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And if I'm confused as a longtime NASCAR fan, think of what new fans are thinking. Think of what the casual fans are thinking. They're like, okay, we don't even know what manufacturers are. And you're talking about a showdown. So, yeah, it really needs to be, if they're going to do it, promote it more.
I would 100% agree with that, for sure.
And get the manufacturers involved in promoting it.
Yeah. Definitely. That would definitely help just them in general and with the showdown and yeah. But Christopher Bell wins because of said promoter caution. I won't complain. Not who I wanted to win, but better than who was going to win. So congrats, Christopher Bell. You're an all-star winner now. You won $1 million. Before we kind of move into other things we said we're going to discuss, we've seen where all-star drivers won the race, went on to win the championship. Of course, last year being Joey Logano. In 2021, Kyle Larson. 2020, Chase Elliott. Do you think this is the signal that Bell may be the champion at the end of this season, since he has now won the All-Star race?
It wouldn't surprise me. He probably should have been running for the championship the past couple of years. We could be looking at a two-time champion had he been able to make that run into the Final Four. Circumstances has kept him out the past couple of years, but if he makes it, whoever else is in that Final Four in that championship four had better be ready, because Christopher Bell is going to bring it. He's going to bring it hard, and I very well could see him winning the championship. The other note out of that, though, the points leader going into All-Star Weekend has yet to win the championship.
So the only person I can think of there is Denny Hamlin.
No, I'm talking about period. The points leader going into All-Star Weekend has yet to win the championship that year. And this year, Kyle Larson is the points leader, which up until Kansas, the points leader was William Byron. So my comment on that stat was, well, thank God William fell to second right after Kansas.
Okay. I see. I misunderstood what you're saying, but I get it. Yep. That would make sense. Yes. With that being said, I'm kind of glad William fell to second as well.
But we've seen Kyle Larson take trends and throw them up or tear them up and throw them in the trash can. So
very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get into fantasy, Fox Sports completed their last. Unfortunately, we do have to put up with them for the rest of the Truck Series season, but they put their last Cup race for 2025 was the All-Star race. ABCD.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. But their internet just went goof. I'm not sure what he was about to say, but I'm pretty sure it was about the probably the fan council questionnaire, which is a questionnaire at the end of every race or special event that they send out to your email if you signed up for it. I don't know what happened. Seems like my internet's okay. I think his internet kind of went goof. Fan council session after every race, and then they'll do one after specific times. They had a special one about the discussing Fox's coverage for their part of the season. Now that's over. Gonna take a quick time out, kind of figure out technical difficulties here. So we'll be back in a moment. Back from our break. Sorry about that.
Program crash, and not much we can do about that.
Gotta love when your software is like, hey, I don't want to work anymore in the middle of recording. I've had that happen way too many times. So, yeah.
Which goes back to where we were when my program just decided to drop us off. Fox Sports concluded their portion of the season. So, A, B, C, D, or F, what's your grade?
I'm gonna give him a C minus.
All right, what's your pros?
Pros. Oof. Pros, I would say we had good pit reporters. Um, Pit reporters are normally always spot on, doing well. Chris Meyer, Jamie McMurray down, going around the tracks to special spots and interacting a little with fans and such was really good. Um, Harvick and Mike Joy do good. Clint kind of Clint was doing good when he first started. He's kind of losing that. So that's actually more of a con with Clint. Josh Sims, really, really good in my opinion. I
was impressed with Josh with the pre-race show at the All-Star race. I think he did an awesome job.
Absolutely. He did really, really good. So I will kind of say, going into because I'm talking more about commentators right now, there was in our fan council, I've already explained to them what the fan council is, weekly quiz and then some special, it's not really a quiz. It's your opinion of how.
Survey.
Yeah, survey. There you go. I don't understand why I couldn't think of that. So there was on the survey, and a lot of people were actually like, they asked for each person that commentated or was part of the Fox, booth or broadcast, where they were at in their commentating career, starting on their way up, about to peak, at their peak, just past peak, and on their way out. I think it's funny because I've seen some X posts is like, this is going to be interesting, or this is like, I feel like somebody's getting targeted here or something. And, I'll be honest. Michael Waltrip, I said on his way out.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Clint Boyer, I said past his peak.
I would agree.
Mike Joy, I would say I couldn't really decide if he was at peak or past peak. I put him at past peak just because he's been in this sport for a really, really long time.
Well, I put him on the way out because he's 70. I believe he's 70 years old, and he's very knowledgeable about the sport. He knows the history of the sport. He does an awesome job calling these races as play-by-play, but I believe I don't think I'm not trying to knock Mike Joy at all. I like Mike Joy, but I believe he's getting to that point in his life to where he might be thinking about retirement. So that's why I kind of have him on his way out, just because at 70 years of age, he's probably starting to look and make plans that he's going to step out. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him within the next couple of years to retire, and he deserves that. He's been doing this for a long time. He deserves to retire, spend time with his family, and enjoy life. So, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's see. Chris Myers, I would say he's at peak. He's still really, really good at his job, but as you mentioned with Mike Joy, I believe he's getting up there in age. So I could see, him getting ready to step out, just retiring, personal reasons. Performance though for him and Mike Joy both are still, top notch, in my opinion. So Jamie McMurray, I would say at his peak, he does really good.
I think he's on his way up. Seeing what he's doing with the CW, with the Xfinity races this year, if Fox ever put him in the booth, he would kill it.
Okay. No.
I don't think he's even close to his peak.
All right. That's fair. I mean, I would agree with that. I did this survey in like 5 minutes. So to be honest, I didn't like think about it, but at the same time I kind of did. Jamie Little, leave her in the pits. She does amazing as a pit reporter. absolute garbage in the booth. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest.
Yes. The Xfinity race, or not the Xfinity race, the truck race at North Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro. I'll get it out eventually. Was atrocious because she's up there. She's like, what's going on down there? And it's like there's trucks wrecking, and she's like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, you
That's
cannot do
like,
that.
And my thing with her, um, on pit road, seems to show excitement. She seems to show a lot of knowledge. In the booth, it's like flat out excitement. She laughs at her own jokes that aren't funny. Um, and there's no excitement. There's uh no presentation. And I guess you could say we're spoiled we've had Rick Allen in the truck series. We've had Adam Alexander in the truck series. We've had so many top-notch play-by-play people in the truck series
Yep.
that has spoiled us. Um, if this was her first, I mean, we kind of the first couple years we're kind of like, okay, it's something new. Let her get her feet wet, but there has been no improvement. As a matter of fact, I think she has gotten worse. uh,
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but I think in the booth she's gotten worse. But on pit road, like you said, wonderful, amazing. Um, the way she covers pit road is just amazing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, in the booth, I'm sorry. Please stop. Just please. Save us all. um, Regan Smith. That one I was kind of iffy with because he, again, he does really, really good. I think I put him at reaching peak, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if it was an on his way up or reaching peak. Because he's still, I mean, he's been doing it for a few years now, and he does really, really good. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Regan. Josh Sims, we kind of touched on him on his way up, 100%.
Oh, big time.
After the performance he had at the All-Star race, dude killed it. He was very knowledgeable, very, very interactive, very energetic and excited. I was like, I would listen to this guy for hours if he just talked. I don't even.
And honestly, he's done a really good job as a pit reporter.
That's also true.
But I think maybe pre-show or maybe even booth for the truck series as a play-by-play would be more of a strong suit for him than even being on pit road. So he might be the one that Fox may need to try in the booth, and put in a couple of knowledgeable drivers. I mean, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, put them in the booth with him for some truck races and see how he does.
Yeah, I would agree. And honestly, I would. Yeah, he would. I think he would do amazing with those as well. I mean, as you said, as a pit reporter, he does really good. But with that pre-race show, at All-Star Race, that just showed his potential. And honestly, I think it was just a very small percentage of his potential. So yeah, put him in the booth with some of those guys. Put him in pre-race show. Give him some more chances to be that guy that's more involved with some of the vocals of the sport. Was there anybody else? Did I miss anybody?
Larry McReynolds.
On his way out. He's old.
Now, look, and Larry and I had a little X conversation over this.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I kind of misspelled his name, and he called me out on misspelling his name, but that was really the only thing he called me out. Look, Larry Mack I look at him like a Mike Joy, a Darrell Waltrip. Larry has been in the sport for a long time.
Yep.
And I love Larry. I have nothing but love for Larry McReynolds. Larry McReynolds put Dale Earnhardt in victory lane at the Daytona 500, a race that he'd been trying to win for 20 years.
Yep.
Okay, he put Davey Allison in victory lane at the Daytona 500. Um, he has worked with some of my favorite drivers. Two of those I just mentioned. Um, he is the father-in-law to Jordan Anderson, which Jordan Anderson is one of my favorite team owners. And he's in the Xfinity series. He was one of my favorite team owners and drivers in the truck series. Love Jordan Anderson racing, like Jeremy Clements and Ryan Sieg. Big fan of this underdog team. Um, so love and respect Larry McReynolds as much as you could love and respect a crew chief that's been in the sport as long as he's been in the sport, what he's done in the sport. But here's the thing. This car is a different car. It's
Mm-hmm.
a different animal than what Larry McReynolds has ever wrenched on pit road. Um, does he understand the car? Does he do a good job with the cutaway car that Fox Sports uses? Yes, he does. But again, just like with Mike Joy, it's he could retire and enjoy the rest of his life, enjoy his children, enjoy his grandchildren. He's earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Step out, let some. I mean, let's face it. You could get a Rodney Childers in the TV booth who's worked on these cars, um, who has built these cars, who's put these cars together. They're going to be able to give us a knowledge of these cars that a Larry McReynolds doesn't have.
Yeah.
Um, so love Larry to death. Would love to see Larry make a decision to retire and go and enjoy his life, still be part of the sport, still come and be on pit road, still come and be in the garage, maybe do a TV interview from time to time to let us know how he's doing and that he's enjoying things. But it's time to retire and relax.
Yep. I would agree. You know,
Uh,
I'm like you, no absolute love for Larry, but we're getting into that newer things that yes, he's knowledgeable on, but there's a point where you should just, be like, put the wrench back in its socket set or in its drawer and say, it's time for the next guy, and go enjoy the rest of the time you have with your family. Obviously, I 100%, I'd be okay, be at the races or watch the races from home, whatever. Fine. I'm sure there's a way he could still be involved. I think you could step down, man. Take, relax, enjoy life. You deserve it. You've earned it. You've worked hard in NASCAR for many, many, many years. So, same with Mike
he's
Joy.
had he's had some of the best calls in the booth. I mean, you go back to Darlington, uh, 2003 with Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven. Great call. So he's been around for a very long time. He's filled some very important roles in the sport for a very long time,
Mm.
but maybe it's just time for somebody new to step in. And then Michael Waltrip was on that list.
Yeah, I talked about him though. I did. Nah, actually, I'm sure you've got your own two
Yeah,
cents.
Michael's another one that it's right off into the sunset, man. Um, yeah, it's just right off into the sunset.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. So,
So yeah, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna give them a C minus. But you talked about the commentators. I want to talk about the production, camera angles, commercials. Um,
eh.
Amazon has announced that they will run only side by side commercials.
Yep.
Fox in several races ran a lot of side by side commercials. and it was great. But then there's a few races, especially in the truck series, where there's 10 laps to go. We're going to a full screen commercial.
Yeah. Horrible timing.
Uh,
Horrible timing.
and the camera angles aren't. You go back and watch Fox in the early 2000s and watch Fox today, and you see the production and the camera angles. It's just, I don't. It's a steady decline. I don't want to say they just fell off the cliff, but it's a steady decline.
Yeah.
Um, they've just gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. And then you throw in the cartoon drivers. Um, yeah, that was old the first year you did it.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then the ticker. Okay, the pylon on the side of the screen. In a lot of races, it doesn't go past the top 20,
Yeah.
especially in the truck races. So if your driver is not in the top 20, you don't ever get to see their name on the screen.
Right. And seeing what the CW has done with Xfinity, you see the potential of how much better Fox could perform. Of course, we see NBC perform better than Fox, and that's been a thing for the past how many years? But Fox just keeps downgrading for some reason, and I don't know what to tell you. I'm honestly with your mention of Amazon, with their next 5 races on Prime Video, starting with the Coke 600, one of the biggest races of the season, and then let's see, there's what I have a picture of what races are next. And then we go to Nashville, Michigan, a new racetrack on the season, Mexico City, and then Pocono. And then after that, it's TNT and I believe that's when the driver playoff bracket thing goes.
The in-season bracket
Yeah,
thing.
that Denny Hamlin had started with his podcast and is now going to be put into the TNT segment of broadcasting, which I think will be really good for them as well. Then we move on to NBC, but I think it's good that NASCAR is partnering with these other broadcasting companies. I'm not saying maybe get rid of Fox altogether, but I'm already excited for seeing how Prime's going to do. I'm excited to see how TNT's going to do. I feel like if I think they're going to perform the way I'm thinking they're going to perform these races, and how well the broadcast is going to be, I could see them taking over a whole lot more than just 5 races next season.
Well, I mean, they got this contract, but my thing is you look what the CW has done with the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
With Amazon and TNT, and we know pretty much what to expect from NBC. It's going to be higher quality than what we got from Fox. But if Amazon and TNT come out and they knock this thing out of the box, it's going to put pressure on Fox to step up their game. And that's what I think Fox is needed, has to step up. And you see what Fox is doing with the IndyCar series this year. They have knocked it out of the park with the IndyCar series, with the way they advertise the IndyCar series, the way they promote the IndyCar series, the way they show the IndyCar series.
Mm-hmm.
They have Fox has knocked it out of the park. It actually reminds me of 2001 Fox Sports NASCAR coverage, as to how excited they were to cover NASCAR. They need to find a way to get that excitement back in the production truck, in the booth, and I think TNT and Amazon are going to put pressure on Fox, that Fox is going to have to step it up. Yes, they got it locked down for the next 10 years. But if they don't step it up and they continue to go down the road that they're going down, when negotiations come up for the next contract, which will probably, those negotiations will probably start in the next 7 years, because it'll take them 2 or 3 years to get it done. NASCAR might tell Fox, we don't want to have anything to do with you anymore because you have just totally dropped the ball.
Yep. And I 100% seeing that too. If they keep this
So they're
up.
going to have to step it up.
Yep.
They're going to have to step it up.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's that. Moving on.
Well, I guess the last thing we need to talk about is our fantasy standings. Probably
Um,
the last thing you want to talk about.
well, yes. But actually, let me just chip in here real quick while we pull these up. I mentioned multiple times that I have watched the Netflix special NASCAR Full Speed. If you have Netflix or have a friend that will let you borrow said Netflix for about 2 days, I highly recommend going to watch both seasons. Season 1 covering 2023 season, Season 2 covering the 2024 NASCAR season. Just the amount of background you get to see in a driver's life, the background you get to see with the teams, it's really, you see a whole lot more of the character and the emotions from the drivers and the teams. So I know we've talked about, we want to see drivers bring their their normal character and normal personalities, out. And, yes, obviously you want to keep a professional point, but at the same time, we want to see those personalities come out more. In NASCAR, the Full Speed series kind of touches more on that, seeing them with their, behind the scenes in team meetings, behind the scenes, in their hobbies, or, with their families, with each other, with each other drivers. You're seeing things that you're not going to see on Fox, period, because they don't believe in a post-race show, except for the All-Star race for some reason. And
Yeah, we are getting 45 minutes on Amazon post-race show minimum.
I love that. But yeah, I highly recommend watching it. Really, really good. Season 1, I would say, was good. Season 2 is a lot better. I just didn't like how it ended because of who won the championship.
Right, for
But
sure.
really good. Recommend it. Also, I've mentioned Earnhardt, May 22nd on Prime. Super excited about that one because there's a lot about
Yeah,
Dale Earnhardt Sr. that I do not know about, because he sadly was taken away before I was born. But I've seen race replays. I've read stories. I've seen documentaries. I've seen so much about this guy. I love learning even more about him. So super excited about that. Seeing the bonds between him and Junior and what Junior had gone through and everything. I think that'll be good. So May 22nd, of course, time recording, that's tomorrow for us. But definitely, I haven't even, I've only seen bits and pieces of just.
yeah. And Dale Jr. said this is the most accurate um, documentary that's been done on Dale Sr. So, um, yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. I was a huge Dale Sr. fan from 1998 to 2001. I was his arch rival Rusty Wallace fan up until that point, but yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to watch it till next week because I have a big event coming up starting tomorrow that I'm leaving for first thing in the morning. So I will not be able to watch it until probably next Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. So, but yeah, and I did mention this. I mentioned that I wanted to talk about something that Kyle Larson had said that was posted on X today, and I just want to read. This is his statement. Kyle Larson on stage racing in NASCAR says, "I could take it or leave it. I would like I would like to not have stages because I think it makes the strategy of the race way better because you don't know when the caution's coming. When you know that the caution's coming, it's so easy for you to plan your race, and you'll never get to really push the length of your tires to where they're like completely wearing out. I think we don't. I think we don't have stages. You would see many more drivers pushing early in the run and falling back later in the run and things like that. But I also think the stages are good because where life is and the attention span of younger adults these days. So, like the time caution is probably better for them and TV2 getting their commercials in and all that. Um, so there's more that goes into it. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you see where he stands on, not having them and then having them, and it seems like he's one that leans more toward not having them. Um, I think the stage point system is good. I think having these stage breaks is bad. So I'm kind of agreeing with Kyle with the 50-50. I think the points are going to make you race the whole race, for sure, especially toward the winding down of the last few laps of said stage. The break, however, is, as he said, it's a guaranteed caution, whether the caution actually comes out or not, which just kind of puts the strategy in place for you. And that's not something I like. I love to strategize. I am absolutely horrible at it, but I love to do it. I've played multiple games, multiple board games that literally is straight strategy. And 9 times out of 10, I get my butt whooped in them, but I love them. And I think that's something these teams need again. It's just something we used to have. We used to have to think of strategies. Obviously, that could always go straight out the window if a actual caution occurs, which, knowing NASCAR, that'll happen. Those strategies could go straight out the window because of a caution at lap so-and-so, and you planned to pit in 10 laps, or you had planned to pit, or you had just pitted 10 laps beforehand. I say let the stage points be a thing, let the breaks not be a thing. That's me. That's all I got. Uh-oh. We have frozen again, sadly. Technical difficulties. That being said, we will take another quick pause to the recording. And we'll be back. And we're back from our little pause. More technical difficulties. Apparently, software doesn't want a software today.
We had another on-track incident for this truck series.
Anyways, we had finished with my opinion of the stage breaks, saying get rid of the actual break, but keep the point system with it. So
yeah, I'm in 100% of agreement with that. I do understand the whole commercial break thing. TV wanted it so that they could show commercials, blah 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 blah. Okay. Just show full screen or half screen side by side commercials and we'll be fine.
Yep, I would agree.
And don't show a little bitty corner. Don't show this little bitty screen up here with the race in it and 3/4 screen commercial. Do it half and half. Like the TVs did picture in picture.
Yeah.
You got half the screen here, half the screen here. Because I'll be honest with you, nobody's watching your commercials anyway.
Yeah, just gonna be honest with you. Normally, it's when I go to use the restroom or grab a drink or a snack, or because I can't hear the race. I can barely see it because, as Duke Ryder said, it's in this tiny little screen in the corner. I can't. I have decent eyesight, even with having glasses, and it's like I can't. It looks like a little black pixel just moving across that tiny little screen. I can't. Sorry, y'all. I make it half and half so I can actually see what I'm watching.
Yeah. And the other comment that he made there is the attention span comment. Look, we live in a TikTok world,
Yeah.
and we live in a TikTok world because parents, I'll just be honest with you, are lazy.
Yep.
And they stick their kid in front of a phone or an iPad or whatever, and don't monitor what the kids are watching or anything like that. They don't sit down and watch TV shows with their kids or whatever. They don't spend time with their kids anymore these days. And, your attention span is going to be short when you're not getting attention.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you are a teenager or an adult and you have a short attention span, that is 100% your fault. That's not my fault. I should not have to suffer because you have a short attention span, because you choose to have a short attention span. As a child, okay, yes, they're developing. They don't necessarily have that attention span, but as you get older, you can teach yourself to develop that attention span.
Yep.
Um, I was told one time in my profession not to go over 30 minutes or over 20 minutes, because if you go over 20 minutes, you lose people's attention. Well, if they were paying attention to what I was doing, I can keep, and I'm one of those that I can keep the attention for 30, 35, 40 minutes if the people so choose.
Yep.
I cannot make anybody pay attention to me. But if you're only going to pay attention to me for 20 minutes, that's your fault, not mine.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I'll say, like, I'm one to multitask. I will have a show on or the race on, whatever, and I'll be playing a game. Normally be playing on my PS5 because iRacing takes pretty much my whole attention away, so I don't really concentrate on listening to the race. I at least listen. Obviously, I'll look up, if something's like some action's going on. I'll be honest, I don't have the attention span. I'm also one that cannot sit still. I like to actively be doing something. So, kind of hence why I play a game with no sound while listening to said race. I'm working on that. Part of that is Fox's fault, though, with the stage cautions and the commercials of side by side. Because if I can't listen to the race, what's the point of me paying attention to the race? Honestly. So I actually say you're losing the attention because of said commercials. Because I'm expecting said commercial. So as soon as the stage break ends, I'm doing something else immediately, whatever I'm having to do. So you're going to get me to sit there and watch the whole race. Just because I know there's most likely not going to be a commercial happen, because I know, yeah, stage is ended, but we ain't stopping. We still going full throttle here. So, that's just that's a personal perspective for you from me. So,
And also me coming from a marketing advertising background, this is a good example. I'll show you something real quick. This is my mouse pad. Okay. What is it? It's a Dale Earnhardt Sr. mouse pad. Okay. His sponsor, Goodwrench. Okay. That's what I'm paying attention to. Now, if you have a Goodwrench commercial, that's a commercial I'm going to pay attention to.
Yep.
Okay. Let's take another example. One of my other favorite drivers, Mark Martin, Valvoline for years and years and years. Okay. I would recognize a Valvoline commercial. Okay. I am going to support products that are on the race car.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to pay attention to your commercials. If you are advertising in a sport and you are not a sponsor of that sport, which technically you are because you are paying advertising,
During the
I'm less
broadcast.
likely to use your product. Because at that point in time, your commercials are interrupting my race. Okay. But again, if you're a sponsor on a race car and you make an interesting commercial, let's use Ross Chastain's Bush commercial, for example. What's
Absolutely.
wrong with going in circles?
I love that 100%. I do not drink alcohol whatsoever. And you know that,
But it's a great
obviously.
commercial.
But that is probably one of the best commercials I have seen in so long. And fun fact, they had that quote on the back of their car for the All-Star race. And they
Yeah.
zoomed in on it too, which was even cooler. You got to actually see that part of the car. So give us
You
commercials
go
like
back,
that.
yeah, go back to 2014, 2015 when Napa first started sponsoring Chase Elliott. Okay. Great Napa commercials with Chase and Bill and Dale Jr. I don't know if you remember them, but look them up. Look them up on YouTube.
Oh
They're on
yeah.
there.
I've seen
Um,
some of them come across my feed just because they're good.
yeah. So okay, well we're huge. We use Napa. Why? Because they're sponsor on a race car. They're sponsor of one of our favorite drivers.
And I've yet to have a bad
Um,
experience with people working there.
exactly. We go back. I can go back to Dale Jarrett, and we want to race the truck with UPS. Attention getting commercial sponsor of a race car. Okay. If you sponsor a race car, I will tolerate your commercial.
Yep. Yep.
If you don't sponsor a race car, I don't want to see your commercial. I mean, it's that to me. And I understand from an advertising marketing perspective, they can't go down that lane. But again, just give us the picture in picture side by side commercials that'll satisfy the sponsor, that'll satisfy the fans, that'll satisfy the teams. I know now some people made a comment on one of my posts about it that said some advertisers don't want their commercials showing in full screen or in side by side. Well, you know what? There's a pre-race show for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a post-race show for that. There's gonna be a caution. You
Yeah.
know, take out the stage cautions, there's still going to be a caution. Very few races have ever went caution free.
Yeah.
And if it does, I'm okay if they're going caution free and the leader's out by 5 seconds and nothing's really happening. I'm okay with the full screen commercial because it gives us a break.
Yep.
It gives us time to go to the bathroom, time to get snacks, time to, maybe see one of those Ross Chastain or Chase Elliott or Dale Jarrett type commercials on screen.
Yep. I would agree. 100%. So.
But we'll see how Amazon and TNT handles their commercial coverage, and we'll revisit this issue uh, at the end of the TNT
Uh,
um,
so
5 race.
since we're on the topic of commercials and with them taking over, I do want to point out Amazon had a really pretty good commercial with how they promoted that they were going to have the next 5 races on their, in their broadcast on their Prime Video, with Dell Jr., Steve Letarte, correct?
Yeah.
And Chase Elliott. Also in like a 86, I think.
I want to say it was old Monte Carlo.
It was
for
an
sure.
old Chevy Monte Carlo SS, beautiful blue color, by the way. I would love to own that car. I would give a good amount of things for a car like that, just because it's a beautiful car. But just the way they set that up and did that was perfect. Give us this, give us commercials like that. Obviously, Prime doing that, they knew what the fans were wanting to grab their attention. That was perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Okay.
for
Enough spills
sure.
about broadcasting and commercials. We should talk about fantasy. Um, this episode is long, so thank you for sticking with us this long, especially after our technical difficulties. Um, I'll be honest, it's getting into that point of fantasy where I'm just kind of throwing up drivers to save some of my better picks for later in the season because I know that's when it's going to really start counting.
I'll be honest with you though, I have been too.
Oh, well, you apparently picked the right ones. Um, so,
So after Texas, I had 190 point lead on you. And almost a 300 point lead on Trey.
huh,
Because I had 1967, you had 1777, which was a good year, by the way. And Trey had 1691.
so to break down Texas points, you came in on top with 141 after the race. I came up second with a whopping 114 points, and for once, Trey cut it very close with 109 points. So you know it's not good when Trey is very close to you in points after a race. Um, what about Kansas? What? How big of a jump did you get
Yeah.
on Kansas? Because
Kansas, I got a.
you almost had me by 100 points after Kansas, just from Kansas.
Let's see, Kansas, I had 2174. You had 1889, which another good year, if I'm not mistaken. And Trey had 1760. So Trey's almost to the birth of America.
Um, yeah. Um, Kansas race points. You came out on top with 207. So I'm interested to know your lineup for that one. Um, I, however, had 112. So you were literally 5 points away from a 100 point gap. And I don't know what Trey was thinking. To be honest, I don't think he even touched it. Um,
I don't think he did either because his head-to-heads weren't
uh,
selected. So
I really need to start reminding him again. Apparently, I reminded him for Texas, and he was like, "Yeah, I did it right next to you," and I was like, "Oh, okay, well that's good. I'm glad
yeah,
somebody else was there to tell you to do it because I think I told him like 20 minutes before the race started." Um, I need to start telling him like,
which is 20 minutes before the race started. That's still time to get your picks in.
yes, because picks are locked in at the beginning of the race, and then your official lineup is locked. Um, from moving a driver out for your garage driver at the end of stage 2. So, but yeah,
Well, I would have done really well, a lot better at Texas had two of my five drivers, and then I guess you could say three if you include the one that I had in the garage hadn't wrecked.
ah, very fair. I need to start kind of finding a way to save them. I don't have my Texas roster, but Kansas, I had Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, Justin Haley, Zane Smith, Daniel Suarez, and in my garage I had Ty Gibbs. That bit me in the butt very much. So that's who I had.
Yeah. Can you pull up mine?
I don't
I
think
don't
I'm
know if
able
it's
to.
available to you.
I think
Let
you
me see if
have
I
to.
can, because I closed it out. I'll be patient with the app opening. Let's see here. I had For Texas, I had Larson, Busher, Elliott, Bell, Hamlin, and Wallace in the garage. I think where I'm killing you guys though. Obviously but I'm also getting you guys on. I know at Kansas for sure I got you guys on stage points.
Yeah.
I think I had like 59 stage points, and you had like 12 or something like that
I'm
stage points. So
I'm not
um,
surprised.
the head-to-heads we're about even on the head-to-heads, but the stage points and race finishes is where I am. Uh, I'm getting you, but the drivers that I used for Kansas, I haven't used hardly that much at all this year. So, I still got them to use. Unfortunately, I'm about out of William Byron's and Christopher Bell's, so I'm gonna have to save them for the playoffs.
Yeah,
Uh,
I definitely would save that them.
so I'm gonna have to start picking. But then again, the times that I've picked like a Justin Haley or a Michael McDowell, they finish. That's when they're finishing top 10, top 15.
But when I pick them, they are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. Now Josh Berry, on the other hand, when I pick Josh Berry, he wrecks.
Yeah.
I've picked him 4 times this year, and all 4 times I've picked him, he's been involved in something.
Yeah. I think I've picked him only twice. One at Vegas, which I looked into, and then Martinsville. And Martinsville, he ended up wrecked, I believe. So Martinsville didn't help me, but Vegas was nice. Hoping for that one again. But yeah, so
Yeah, and with the Coke 600 coming up, I'm probably going to shoot for the fences. I mean, because there's going to be some cars that you normally wouldn't put on your roster, but with it being 600 miles, you know that they're going to be so far behind and so slow that through attrition they're going to be able to work their way up.
yep.
So now I'm not putting Cody Ware in my lineup,
Nope.
so don't get your hopes up.
Nope.
Uh, Joey Logano probably will not be in my lineup.
Fair enough.
The only time Joey Logano will be in my lineup is if he makes the championship 4. And
Obviously,
then I will have to put him in my lineup
but
then, just because,
you gotta put at least all 4 of the championship drivers in there, and then just
right?
an oddball.
So which is what makes it so rough. Luckily, everything resets when we get to the playoffs. Now you don't have 10 uses, you got 5 uses, but if you do it right,
Yeah.
and there's some that are, it's like it's almost obvious that they're going to make the final 4.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the playoffs. But anyway, that is all we've got to talk about.
Yep. So I actually have a couple things before we wrap up. As you know, you mentioned Coke 600 this weekend. Well, guess what? iRacing's doing another special event for the Coca-Cola 600 with a certain time segments for the race on the simulator. I do plan on partaking Saturday morning, 400 laps around Charlotte. That's going to be tiring. So
Hopefully it works out better than your Indy 500.
yes, do have a special paint scheme being made by Furnace Paints, one of the sponsors we had in the H&N iRacing League for one of our races. So thank you to Furnace Paints for assisting me with making the paint scheme, which will probably be announced. I'll probably announce it on Twitter at least. Which is in the link down in the description if you want to come follow me. I normally post my thoughts of NASCAR things there pretty regularly, along with Duke Ryder, whose link will also be down there to follow us. But yeah, as you mentioned, real quick, the Indy 500 open setup race I attempted, but had to try to avoid a bit of a stack up, and somebody else decided to just dive right in when I was trying to avoid said stack up, not really paying attention to what is ahead of them. Drove over my left rear tire. He does a wheelie, and I end up spinning and crashing into the wall and wrecked out of the race because those cars are, as I have said, are sensitive once damaged.
Yeah, you made it to like what, lap 109 or 115, something like
so
that.
I made it to lap 123 in the fixed setup race, which was really good. However, I made it lap 2, turn 2 in the open setup race because somebody wasn't paying attention. So that's lovely. Was pretty mad. I was calmed down until I realized the same guy that took me out was leading and ended up winning the race. So I was pretty mad that happened. So that whole day for me was just bad. Nothing wanted to go my way at all. And actually, I ended up with one of my monitors being broken just from trying to move some stuff around. It fell over and was like, I'm done. And so now I'm down a monitor just because of life. So yeah, that was fun. Hopefully the Coke 600 goes a whole lot smoother. Also, want to announce H&N, the iRacing League I'm a part of. Season 2 schedule has been released. So I'm going to show you guys here. If I can get... There we go. I'm also going to show you. I'm going to try and share screen here. Share all application windows. You should see my lovely screen. You may have to tap on it.
Yep. Watch stream.
I'm going to have to adjust this so the actual recording can catch it.
Whoa.
Hey, apparently it is not working. One sec. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me end it and retry it here. Should be share all application windows. Pull this up. Apparently closed it. That's lovely. Can you see it?
No, all I see is a duplication of the screen.
Dadgummit. If I hit share this window. Also doesn't work. Cool. That's lovely. Change. No. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just apparently gonna have to give up on showing you. I'll just show you a picture. But for the those watching the episode here, I have it pulled up. Starting off the season, Daytona, of course. Going into Las Vegas, then Auto Club, then Atlanta, then Texas, Bristol, Charlotte, and Indianapolis for the regular season. Going into the playoffs, starting with a lovely wild card, Talladega, then Nashville Super Speedway, and then Homestead, and then your championship race will be at Chicagoland. So I think that'll be pretty interesting. Any thoughts on that?
Sounds like a schedule.
Fair enough. I think it'll be good. Just a heads up for you guys, may miss a couple races due to personal reasons, depending on how long / when said season starts and how long it goes on. I've mentioned it before, but in July I am getting married, so I will be out. Yeah, I'm just leave it at that. Duke Ryder makes goofy faces about that. So just a warning. Still a couple months till that happens. So, but like I said, I don't know when the season's officially starting. They haven't said anything yet about when it starts, but I look forward to it. These guys are ready for season 2. They've improved from the difficulties of running their first season, and yeah, we're gonna hopefully have a much better shot at the championship this year, this season, and
which is exactly why they're going to run it when they know you're going to be away.
yeah,
Because you are a threat. So they're going to run it so that
yeah,
you will have to miss some races, because you're not going to carry your equipment all the way down here just to carry it all the way back.
yeah. Well, I'm actually hoping I
Plus,
don't.
you'll be divorced as soon as you get married anyway.
I'm hoping I don't have to bring it back. I'm hoping I can bring it home and then move on to my next spot. But yeah, but it's not the threat of winning and locking myself in. I would think they're thinking. I would think it's more of the threat of I took them out of the race.
So they think they might finish the race if you're not in it.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. I would say.
So you are the Cody Ware of your iRacing league.
I am not the Cody Ware of the iRacing league. That is.
You're the Chris Wright of the iRacing league.
Okay, that maybe not maybe for a couple races, but there. I mean, I've had my run-ins with some of the guys. It's normal.
Or Quinn Huff.
No, I would say that's worse than Cody Ware. We'll try to do better. We've made some mistakes during the first season. We'll clean up, look good for the second season, hopefully. But I may purposely take some of them out just because they're a pain in my rear end sometimes. So we'll see. But anyways, that is it for this episode. So you want to give our usual non-sponsoring shout-outs?
Yeah, y'all have heard me go over this numerous times. I'm not going to go through them all again. I do want to give a huge shout out to Rick Houston with the Scene Vault podcast, and because he has scanned and digitized every single issue of the Scene newspaper magazine. He has digitized every single issue. They are not available to the public because the company that owns them, that owns the rights to the Scene, which has been, the Winston Cup scene, the Nextel Cup scene, the Sprint Cup scene, so on and so forth. Actually, because 2009 was the last year they were in production. I can't remember if it was Nextel or Sprint at that point, but either which way, the company that owns the rights to that is not willing to allow these to be made to the public, and they want an exorbitant, ridiculous amount of money for the rights to be purchased. So Rick and Steve Wade, who were both content providers, editors, I mean, they filled a lot of roles in the Scene. The Scene has launched the career of many that we've followed today, including Jeff Gluck that we've mentioned. Anyway, big shout out to Rick Houston and the Scene Vault podcast for digitizing the entire run of the Scene. I hope it's available someday. I have quite a few paper copies from that were gifted to me. You go to the Mark Martin Museum in Batesville, Arkansas. He's got quite a few copies of the Scene, the Winston Cup Scene on the wall, where he was the cover athlete of those particular issues. So it's great to have somebody like that that's willing to put the dedication and the effort into preserving that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish somebody would do that with the old Circle Track racing magazine that I used to get, with the old Stock Car Racing magazine that I used to get, because we need to preserve the written history of NASCAR. And Rick Houston he took that under his wing as his own project. He's finished that up. He finished that up today. So big shout out to him for doing that. And then of course, the other one that we give the shout out to will be our favorite circlebdiecast.com. Check out all of your diecast needs. Hey, Lionel has raised their prices.
Yep.
Due to the whole tariff situation, which we won't get into that. I've got my thoughts and my opinions and my feelings on companies using tariffs as an excuse to raise prices on already inferior products. But you can still get the best deals at circlebdiecast.com. They have auctions. You can check out their auction pages. All of their links are on their Twitter X handles. They're on their Facebook pages. So if you were interested in auctions, go check out the links to the auction pages on there. And again, circlebdiecast.com. They're still the best deal in town. Unfortunately, you can't get your elites there, but you can get your elites from firstclassdiecast.com that Circle B does the shipping for. And which means that you're going to get your item in the best condition absolutely possible, because they put it in tight fit boxes where they're not getting jostled around, they're not getting thrown around. If there's room in the box, they pack plenty of peanuts in the box, so your stuff is going to arrive in excellent condition. And then of course you got to get your store exclusives from HenrickMotorsports.com, WilliamByron.com, ChaseElliott.com, KyleLarson.com, just wherever the exclusives come from. You can't get those from Circle B. But if you just want the usual ARCs that everybody loves, your 164s, check out Circle B.
Absolutely. So link down in the description below, of course, along with we've said multiple podcasts we recommend listening to. It's where we get a lot of our information from, and some of the drivers either our host or special guest on multiple of those podcasts. So recommend tuning into some of those podcasts as well. And of course, for our sponsoring partnerships, thank you. Check out Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. As you saw me drinking this whole entire session, they just released a new flavor, which I think is going to be very interesting. S'mores, campfire s'mores. They also recommend to mix it with milk, but I have yet to get it, obviously because it just released, but I do plan on getting it and mixing it with both water and milk, and I will let you guys know which one is better once that has happened. But I think that is interesting, so check them out. You just go to SterlingRider for 10% off at checkout. You also got Rankest Rope Ranch Wear, your Western and rodeo attire, Undrdog Athletix for your faith-based athletic apparel, and follow Him Apparel, also your faith-based apparel. All their links are down below, along with what code to use at checkout for a percentage off. So thank you to them. Thank you to you guys for listening to us and dealing with our lovely technical difficulties. Thankfully, I have a recording software that lets me just pause and not have to piece everything together in multiple segments. So, yeah. Any final words?
Yeah, Coca-Cola 600, Indy 500. The one race that I will say go Larson, Indy 500.
Yep.
I want to see him do well. I want to see him complete 1,100 miles. I just don't want to see him win the Cup race.
That's fair.
But other than that, great weekend of racing coming up. Everybody have a happy Memorial Day. Remember what Memorial Day is all about. It's remembering those that gave their lives in order for us to have the freedom to sit in front of a computer and talk about our favorite sport in the world, NASCAR.
Absolutely. Thank you to those who have given their life for us to live ours. For sure. So with that being said, happy Memorial Day. Enjoy this weekend of racing with the Coke 600 and Indy 500. Also be sure to tune in to the iRacing Coke 600 special that I plan on taking a part of. So with that being said, we will see you next time. Thank you for listening, and further ado, I forgot my outro for a second, and I don't know why. Anyways, now that I know it, peace out, right on, and God bless.